Oh, yes. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a good video, this one right here is a good one. This is you found the right video, cause this video is going to be about proving using the Bible's internal evidence to prove that the Israelites were black. And as many things have been swept under, even in the Bible. And there's so many places in the Hebrew scriptures, or what people call the Old Testament, that proves that the Israelites are black. And it needs to be exposed. It needs to be so, because that's the only way to understand who the Bible prophecy is really talking about, bringing back to the promised land, to the land of Isaac, um, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the land that Yahweh promised. You'd have to know who the children of God are, the Israelites, to truly understand um, Bible prophecy properly. And the Israelites are the black people of the race known as Negroes. We all over the world. We are the true children of Israel. Okay, so let me go to 2 Kings chapter 5. Okay, I'm using the World English Bible because it has Yahweh's name in there, and I like the way it's translated. It's easily understandable. And this is gonna this we're gonna get into this. 2 Kings chapter 5. Okay, let's read verse 1. Now Naaman, captain of the army of the king of Syria, was a great man with his master, and honorable, because by him Yahweh had given victory to Syria. He was also a mighty man of valor, but he was a leper. The Syrians had gone out in bands, and had brought away captive out of the land of Israel a little maiden, and she waited on Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, I wish that my Lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria. Then he would heal him of this leprosy. Okay, so Naaman, no doubt, he was a very dark skinned, maybe even a black person himself, because that's the color of the people of those days in those areas. And so, understand that in the Bible times, leprosy. This is talking about where the skin turns white. That's what it is, leprosy in the Bible. This just means that the skin turns white. Okay, not the modern sense of the disease, flesh-eating, debilitating disease, but it's just okay. It discolors the skin, and for it to be so devastating and distressing, it means that these people were not white before they got leprosy. Because if you were already white, how can being white bother you? It can only bother you if you were dark before. Okay, so chapter verse 4. Someone went in and told his lord, saying, the maiden who is from the land of Israel said this. The king of Syria said, go now, and I will send a letter to the king of Israel. He departed and took with him 10 talents of silver and 6,000 pieces of gold and 10 changes of clothing. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, saying, now, when this letter has come to you, behold, I have sent Naaman my servant to you, that you may heal him of leprosy. When the king of Israel read the letter, he tore his clothes and said, am I God to kill and make alive? That this man sends to me to heal a man of his leprosy. But please consider and see how he seeks a quarrel against me. It was so when Elisha is a prophet, he's a man of God that God has endowed with power. Okay, it was so when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, that he sent to the king, saying, why have you torn your clothes? Let him come now to me, and he shall know that there is a prophet in Israel. So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariots, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. Elisha sent a messenger to him, saying, go and wash in the Jordan River, 7 times, and your flesh shall come again to you, and you shall be clean. But Naaman was angry and went away and said, Behold, I thought he will surely come out to me and stand and call on the name of Yahweh, his God, and wave his hand over the place and heal the leper. Aren't Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be clean? So he turned away and went away in rage. So he didn't have faith that dipping into their river would heal him. Okay, he was angry that he was asked to do this. He expected something more from Elijah, the prophet himself. Verse 13, his servants came near and spoke to him and said, My father, if the prophet had asked you to do some great thing, wouldn't you have done it? How much rather then when he says to you, Wash and be clean? So then he went down, Naaman, and dipped himself 7 times in the Jordan, according to the saying of the man of God, and his flesh was restored like the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. His skin was fresh. His skin was nice, good skin. He returned to the man of God, he and all his company, and came and stood before him, and he said, See now, I know that there is no God in all the earth, but in Israel. Now therefore, please take a gift from your servant. But he said, As Yahweh lives, before whom I stand, I shall receive none. Okay, so he refused the gift. But then Naaman, he urged him to take it, but he refused. Naaman said, If not, then please let 2 mules burden of earth be given to your servant, for your servant will from now on neither offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice to other gods, but to Yahweh. This man was impressed that Yahweh, he saw that Yahweh was the true Almighty God. And he said, Never again will I sacrifice to another God besides Yahweh. That's powerful, a man of another nation. So, in this thing, may Yahweh pardon your servant. When my master goes into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he leans on my hand, and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow myself in the house of Rimmon, may Yahweh pardon your servant in this thing. So, okay. He said to him, Go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. Now this is where it gets very interesting. It says, But Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of God, said, Behold, my master has spared this Naaman the Syrian, and not receiving at his hand that which he bought. As Yahweh lives, I will run after him and take something from him, being hard-headed. So Gehazi followed after Naaman. When Naaman saw one running after him, he came down from the chariot to meet him and said, Is all well? He said, All is well. My master has sent me, saying, Behold, even now 2 young men of the sons of the prophets have come to me from the hill country of Ephraim. Please give them a talent of silver and 2 changes of clothing. So he lied. He just went there and lied, being greedy. And how disrespectful. Okay. Verse 23, Naaman said, Be pleased to take 2 talents. He urged him and bound 2 talents of silver in 2 bags with 2 changes of clothing and laid them on 2 of his servants, and they carried them before him. When he came to the hill, he took them from their hand and stored them in the house. Then he let the men go, and they departed. But he went in and stood before his master. Elisha said to him, Where did you come from, Gehazi? He said, Your servant went nowhere. Lied again. He said to him, Didn't my heart go with you when the man turned his chariot to meet you? Is it a time to receive money and to receive garments and the olive groves and vineyards and sheep and cattle and male servants and the female servants. Now listen to what happened to him, greedy Gehazi. Therefore, the leprosy of Naaman will cling to you and to your offspring forever. He went out from his presence as a leper, as white as snow. Wow. So Elisha punished uh, Gehazi for lying, for going out and doing something that he said he wouldn't do. He went behind his back, then lied, and is being wicked. So the white skin that Naaman had that was distressing him, he said now the leprosy of Naaman will cling to you and your offspring forever. And so listen, he went out from his presence a leper as white as snow. So there again, it shows two things. Well, it shows that leprosy in the Bible, as this is talking about in the Hebrew scriptures, is white skin. He turned as white as snow. So let's think of, so if he was white already, if the Israelites are what people like to call Jews, if the Israelites or Jews were white, then white skin would not have been a change. It would have meant nothing. Think about it. If you're white already, first of all, how can you change white if you're already white? Second, if somehow you could change a little bit whiter, I don't know, it wouldn't be a big deal because you were already white. Okay? So that right there is letting people know that these people were not white before. Oh, and here's another thing. If Gehazi's skin were already white, okay, then how could him turning white be a punishment to him if he was already white? It would not have been a punishment and to his offspring forever. It didn't say just him, but his offspring forever. Now it wouldn't have been a punishment unless Gehazi was not white. And he was not white. The Israelites were not white. And this proves it again. This is the third story that I've made a video about, as far in the same type of story where somebody turned white who was not white and then they were changed back again. But in this case, Gehazi would never be changed back. So we see that these people were people of color, black. So some people may say, okay, they were dark, they weren't white. Uh, but we can't prove they were black. The Bible still doesn't say they were black. Oh, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Let's take a look at it. Now, I recommend the King James Version for these Bible verses that tell that the Israelites are black, because the King James Version keeps the color, the black, authentic. Some versions seek to change it, okay? So, King James Version, Lamentations chapter 5, verse 10. This is the Israelites, okay? Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. Their skin was black like an oven. Next. Here, speaking of the Judeans, the southern tribe of Israel. Okay, these are Israelites. Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. Their visage is blacker than a coal. The way they look is blacker than a coal. Next. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verses 5 through 6. The lover of King Solomon. This is what she says, verse 5. I am black but comely, meaning I am black but beautiful, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. The tents of Kedar and the curtains of Solomon were black. Okay, verse 6. Look not upon me, because I am black. There it is again. I am black, because the sun have looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard I have not kept. It says, I am black. There is more eternal proof in the Bible that the Israelites were black. Peace and blessings to you.